A millionaire laughs when a humble janitor promises to help her live again, but he has a secret. In the dazzling city of Avalon, where the sun kissed the skyscrapers and the heartbeat of nightlife resonated with every flutter of a gold credit card, Veronica Sterling felt like a ghost drifting through her own life. A glittering chandelier sparkled overhead in the gala she attended, its light bouncing off the polished marble floor. Yet it couldn't illuminate the suffocating emptiness she carried. Laughter floated around her, sharp and cheerful, but her own giggles felt forced, fake, like a shadow fighting against the sun. She was a billionaire heiress, trapped in a fortress of gold that felt more like a prison. And then, amidst the swirling crowd, she saw him, a janitor in a simple blue jumpsuit pushing a mop with the poise of a dancer, Leo. He swept through the room with a smile that shone brighter than the diamonds adorning the necks of the women around her. "You look like you could use some fun," he said, eyes twinkling, a mischievous glint that made her heart skip. His words tumbled out, soft yet daring, as if he could see past the glitz and glamour directly into her soul. "Fun? What do you know about fun?" Veronica laughed, but her laughter felt freeing. It spilled from her lips like bubbles popping in a clear blue sky. She felt alive for a moment, and it terrified her. Who was this man, and why did his presence spark this flicker of joy? "More than you'd think," Leo winked back, that radiant smile refusing to falter. "How about I show you? I promise, you won't regret it." As they exchanged stories, laughing over the most ridiculous moments of their lives, the world outside faded away. He talked about simple joys, the smell of rain, the thrill of a good story, and the wonder of a child discovering a new game. Veronica leaned closer, her breath quickening. Each word was like a deep dive into an ocean of feeling, pulling her deeper into the warmth of this unforeseen connection. But there was something shadowy lurking behind those vibrant words. A mystery wrapped tightly around Leo. Moments passed, and with them, the unspoken truth cast. A long shadow on her newfound joy. She felt it, the weight of unshared secrets hanging in the air. Who was he really? Then, one night, everything changed. Leo stumbled upon a conversation, a hushed meeting between Veronica's father and a shrewd rival, a man whose smile promised danger. "He's planning something," Leo realized, heart racing. As the words sliced through the tension like a knife, Veronica's family empire was in jeopardy. And he was caught in the middle of it all. Would this change everything? As Veronica began to rediscover laughter, Leo realized the stakes had risen, and the secrets he held could either save or destroy the fragile world they were building. Could their bond withstand the darkness? Would laughter and hidden truth be enough to embrace the life they both desperately wanted? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up, and since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The air in the gala was electric, thick with anticipation. As Leo's heart raced, he had overheard something he couldn't ignore. His mind raced with images of Veronica, her laughter, the light in her eyes. But now, the shadows closing in had taken an all too familiar shape. "What are you planning?" he whispered to himself, his pulse quickening. But just then, everything shifted. A loud crash echoed through the hall. Glasses shattered, laughter turned to shrieks, and the elegance dissolved into chaos. Leo's eyes darted to the source of the commotion. A figure stumbled forward through the crowd, their face cloaked in darkness. They were flailing, their arms reaching out desperately. Veronica gasped, her eyes wide, and before she even knew it, she was moving toward the figure. But Leo's instincts kicked in. "No, stay back," he shouted, rushing forward. The crowd parted, murmurs rising like smoke. "Is that—" Then the figure stepped into the light. It was her mother. The one person Veronica thought was lost to time, presumed dead for years. "Mom?" Veronica's voice trembled, caught between hope and disbelief. Tears streamed down her mother's face, mingling with the shock on every other face. "Veronica, you have to listen," she gasped, breathless. "It's not safe. He's coming for you." The world spun. Leo felt every nerve in his body tighten. How could this be happening? Wasn't her mother supposed to be a ghost in their family's past? And suddenly, the mystery surrounding her family felt sharper, more dangerous. "What are you talking about?" Veronica's voice broke. The tension in the room reached a fever pitch. Everybody stared, dead silent, hanging on the edge of this unforeseen reunion. "Your father has been lying," she struggled to catch her breath. "About everything. The empire he built. It's not just business. It's built on secrets. Dangerous ones." The last word hung in the air, heavy and accusing. Gasps erupted from the crowd, whispers blending into a cacophony of disbelief. Leo leaned closer, heart pounding. What did this mean? The truth about Veronica's life was already so fragile, and now her mother was tearing at the seams. He caught sight of Veronica's pale face, fear swirling in her eyes. "Mom, please," she pleaded, trembling. "What do you mean? Trust me, I've seen things. People, enemies who want to destroy everything." Her mother's voice shook, desperate. "You have to leave Avalon, now." A wave of dread crashed over Leo. This was bigger than he had imagined, and with it came a terrifying realization. Everything he thought he knew about Veronica's life, her family, and their laughter-filled moments was hanging by a thread. Suddenly the lights flickered, plunging them into darkness. Screams erupted from the crowd, panic blooming as everyone scrambled. "Stay with me," Leo shouted as he reached for Veronica, instinctively grabbing her hand. "We need to go now." "Leo, wait," she cried, her grip tightening. "What's happening?" As chaos unfolded around them, Leo's mind raced. He had his own secrets, layered and complicated, perhaps intertwined with hers. What if the truth she was uncovering also linked back to him? Then, just as they turned to flee, a deep voice echoed through the chaos. "You can't escape what you've inherited, Veronica." Leo's gut twisted. Who was this mystery figure? And what did he want? As the crowd surged, Leo felt dread wash over him. Every heartbeat was a reminder. Some secrets don't remain buried. Would they survive long enough to uncover what was really happening? Would their connection survive the darkness closing in? The stakes had never been higher, and now their laughter felt like a fleeting memory in the wake of the storm. Would they stand together against the truth? Or would panic tear them apart? Leo felt the panic surge around him like a tidal wave. The figure's deep voice echoed, sending chills racing down his spine. "You can't escape what you've inherited, Veronica." In that moment, it felt as though the air around them snapped tight, a string ready to break. Veronica's hand gripped Leo's tighter. "Who are you?" she shouted over the chaos, her voice trembling, eyes darting wildly. But all he could focus on was the growing sense of dread. The crowd shifted, pushing them against the walls, shadows shrinking as the lights flickered. Then, before Leo could pull her away, the figure stepped forward completely, revealing a face he recognized all too well. It was a face from the depths of his past, twisted by memories he'd tried to bury. "Daniel?" Leo gasped, eyes widening as everything clicked into place. Daniel Garnett, his childhood friend, the one who had gone down a path of no return. How could he be here at this moment in front of Veronica? "Surprised to see me?" Daniel smiled, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You've always been drawn to trouble, Leo. And now it seems trouble has found you in the form of this lovely lady." His eyes glinted wickedly as he turned his attention to Veronica, who remained frozen, clearly struggling to process everything. "Stay away from her," Leo shouted, stepping protectively in front of Veronica. The chaos continued around them. people bickering in disbelief, police sirens wailing in the distance, but all Leo could hear was the thunderous beat of his heart. "Oh, Leo," Daniel taunted, easing back into a more relaxed stance. "You don't get it. I'm here to help." The words hung heavy in the air, dripping with sarcasm. It felt less like an olive branch and more like a looming threat. "What's going on?" Veronica's voice rose above the noise, her fear palpable. "Leo, who is he?" She looked from Leo to Daniel, confusion and alarm mingling on her face. "Someone you should stay far away from," Leo snapped, frustration bubbling. The last thing he needed was the truth spilling out right here, right now. Daniel laughed, a cold, mirthless sound that cut through the anxiety. "Oh, but I think you need me, Veronica. Your family's past isn't just dirty secrets, it's riddled with blood. Blood that's not yours." Time froze. Leo felt his stomach drop. Blood? What did he mean? He glanced at Veronica, and fear washed over him. Everything he thought he knew about her might be unraveling. "Leo, what is he talking about?" Veronica begged, her voice trembling. But just as he opened his mouth to respond, the lights burst back on, flooding the room with blinding light. Eyes blinked in the sudden brilliance, everyone momentarily stunned. In that electric moment, Daniel's demeanor shifted. Gone was the playful menace. A startled look flickered across his face before he reached into his coat. Leo's pulse raced. "No!" he shouted. But it was too late. A shot rang out. Everything slowed, like a moment caught in time. The crack of the gunfire shattered the chaos, and all at once the room erupted into screams. Leo felt a jolt of fear radiating through his body, instinctively shoving Veronica behind him. But it wasn't Leo who fell. It was Daniel, his body crashing to the ground as his eyes widened in shock, blood seeping into the polished floor. What just happened? Leo's mind spun, his heart racing. "Get down!" a voice yelled from the crowd, panic in every syllable. Veronica's face turned to horror, confusion giving way to pure terror. But amidst her shock, Leo saw something flash in her eyes, a glimmer of recognition, like she understood something he didn't. "Leo," she cried, pulling at his sleeve. "We need to go. He was right. It's bigger than we thought." And just like that, a new storm gathered. What was happening? What did Daniel know? What connection did her family have? As the crowd surged toward the exits, panic and confusion spreading like wildfire, Leo felt the weight of the world bearing down on him. "Veronica," he shouted, trying to pull her toward safety. But as they turned to run, another figure emerged from the shadows, one that made Leo's blood run cold. It was Veronica's father, a stormy look in his eyes. "No, stay where you are." As the ground seemed to shake beneath them, Leo realized everything was about to change again. Would they survive this? Or were the secrets pulling them apart more dangerous than anything they had faced before? Leo felt a chill pierce through the chaos, each heartbeat echoing a warning. Veronica's father stood there, blocking their path, his face twisted in a mixture of anger and something else, something dark and foreboding. The crowd was still in a frenzy, but his glare held a deadly calm. "Don't move," he barked, his voice slicing through the panic like a blade. "Dad, what's going on?" Veronica's voice trembled. She looked at her father, confusion etched across her features. "Why are you here?" The piercing lights cast ominous shadows on his face. "You shouldn't have come here, Veronica," he warned, his tone low and dangerous. "Everything is unraveling faster than I anticipated." "Is that why you've been lying?" Leo interjected, stepping forward, fists clenched. "About your relationship with Daniel? About your business?" He could feel a tornado of emotions churning in his gut, anger and fear colliding. "Shut up," Veronica's father snapped. "You don't know anything." But Leo had a nagging feeling that everything was tied together. He glanced back at Daniel, who lay crumpled on the polished floor, the life slipping away from his eyes. There was something in his expression that still screamed for this madness to end. "Why are you acting like this?" Veronica pressed, urgency spilling into her voice. "What are you hiding?" Before her father could respond, A new sound cut through the chaos. A sudden, sharp beep, repeating like a siren. Leo's heart dropped. It was a countdown, and it was coming from Daniel's jacket. "Get down," Leo shouted, pulling Veronica to the ground, just as the crowd erupted into screams, chaos spilling over once again. Then a blinding flash erupted. Leo's eyes squeezed shut as instinct kicked in. A blast surged through the room, pushing him back and knocking Veronica from his grasp. "Veronica!" he yelled, frantically searching through the haze of confusion. The room spun, tiles cracking under the impact of the explosion. When the smoke began to clear, Leo staggered to his feet, heart racing. His vision swam, but he quickly found her, crouched near the wall, shock painted on her face. "Are you okay?" He rushed to her side, adrenaline pumping. But as he reached for her hand, everything shifted. Her eyes darted past him, widening in terror. "What did you do?" she gasped, voice trembling. "What?" His brows knitted in confusion, but then he turned. It was Daniel, still lying there, but the body was shifting, moving unnaturally. In horror, he realized that Daniel's face was turning pale, but something else began to bubble beneath the surface. "Is he?" Then miraculously, Daniel gasped, eyes snapping open. But they weren't filled with life. They were hollow, blank, as if something else had taken residence. That was the moment Leo felt the unmistakable chill run down his spine. "Leo," Daniel rasped, his voice low and unrecognizable. "It's time for the truth." Nothing made sense anymore. The world shrank to just them, the noise fading. "No, you're not. You can't be." Leo stammered, stepping back, dread clawing at his chest. "I was never dead." Daniel's lips curled into a grim smile, his eyes glinting with something dark and merciless. "I'm the key to all of this, and now we can finally settle the score. Together." Leo's heart raced, every fiber in his being screaming to flee, but his feet felt glued to the ground. "Leo?" Veronica's touch brought him back to her side, her voice pleading. "What does he mean?" But as he looked back at Daniel, the implications twisted in the air, rippling through the crowd like a shockwave. The truth was unraveling, but not one that Leo ever wanted to find. "Get away from him," Leo shouted. But another shape emerged from the smoke, a woman cloaked in shadows, eyes burning with familiarity. "You don't know the whole story," she said, stepping into the light. Veronica's breath caught in her throat. "Mom?" And just like that, everything Leo thought he understood shattered. What other secrets lurked beneath that family facade? What had Daniel meant by settle the score? Where would this madness lead? The tension was suffocating as silence blanketed the room. All eyes turned back towards them, horror mixing with anticipation. And yet amidst the chaos, the question lingered, how deep did the rabbit hole go? The tension crackled like static, taking over the air between them. Leo's mind whirled as Daniel's words hit him like a freight train. "You don't know the whole story." The crowd, shocked into silence, drew in a collective breath, every face caught in disbelief. "Mom?" Veronica sounded small, the word escaping her lips like a prayer. "Why are you here?" Daniel laughed faintly, a haunting sound that sent shivers through Leo. The siblings finally meet their mother. It was only a matter of time. And now that the truth has come to light, everything changes. "What? Siblings?" The word echoed in Leo's mind, mixing confusion and fear. Leo exchanged a frantic glance with Veronica, her eyes widening, horrified. "Stop! What are you talking about?" Leo shouted over the rising chaos. He stepped closer, adrenaline surging. "She's not your mother." But Daniel's smile widened. "Oh, she is. Just as much as you are my brother." A sickening realization settled in. Leo felt the ground shift beneath him, reality unraveling. "No, it can't be." Veronica stepped back, her face pale. "This doesn't make sense." "You're lying." "Am I?" Daniel countered. "Look at her. She's the one who abandoned us, left you with your father and me to rot." Around them, whispers erupted. The crowd shifted, eyes wide with a mixture of fear, curiosity, and shock. "Get away from them," Veronica's father roared, anger lacing his voice. "Do you really think I'd let you control this narrative any longer?" Daniel sneered. "You think you can silence the past? You've done enough lying, don't you think?" "Daniel," Leo warned, his heart racing faster than he could think. "If this is true, if what you say is true, then you're a monster." But Daniel only laughed, his laughter a twisted melody. "Oh, brother, you have no idea what it means to bear the family name." Leo's hand shook. Each heartbeat grew heavier. "This is insane." Then a loud bang echoed from the stage. Someone dropped a glass, shattering it into a million pieces. The sound jolted everyone back to reality, bringing the chaos to a head. People started shouting, pushing against each other as panic seeps through the crowd like a rising tide. In that moment of distraction, Leo felt a hand grab his arm. He turned to find Veronica's mother staring at him, eyes wide, panic painted across her face. "You need to listen. They know things you don't." "What?" Leo snapped, pulling away. "What do you know?" But before she could respond, a flash of movement caught his eye. Leo turned just in time to see Daniel raise something long and metallic, glinting ominously under the light. "A knife?" "No," Leo shouted, lunging forward, every instinct screaming to protect Veronica. But it was too late. Daniel lunged towards Veronica, eyes wild, spit flying from his mouth. "You'll pay for the truth." In an instant, Leo's world went dark. A fireball erupted behind him. A blinding flash engulfed the room in a hot blaze. Everyone screamed, scrambling for safety, as heat enveloped him. The explosion threw Leo backward, crashing hard against the marble floor. A sharp pain jolted through his shoulder, but all he could think about was Veronica. Scrambling to his feet, he fought against the swirling dust and debris. "Veronica!" he called out, desperation clawing at his throat. But when the smoke cleared, she was gone. The room spun, chaos reigning around him. Couples separated, friends lost. Leo's heart sank as the screaming turned into a chorus of despair. He spun around, searching for Veronica amid the crumbling beauty of the gala. Then he saw her. She was struggling against a shadowy figure, a figure cloaked in darkness. Their hands clutched her arms, a grip of iron. Leo felt his chest tighten. "Let her go!" he shouted, charging forward through the smoke, determination igniting his limbs. But as he reached out, everything shifted once more. The figure turned, and it was someone he recognized, someone who made Leo's blood run cold. It was not just Daniel's brother who stood before them. It was his other sibling, the sibling no one knew existed, born from the same secrets buried deep within their family history. It was the last person Leo expected. His heart raced, breath hitching in his throat as he stared into the eyes of his twin. Every beacon of safety shattered in an instant. What now? Leo thought, faced with his own reflection in that dark moment. Everything slipped through his fingers, and with it, so did the truth. Would family bonds bring them together, or tear them apart? What game of fate were they about to play next? The tension was almost suffocating as Leo stood frozen, face to face with his twin. Eyes wide, heart pounding, he struggled to comprehend the whirlwind of emotions crashing inside him. "This can't be happening," he murmured, stepping back, horrified by the implications. Veronica's gaze darted between the two of them. "Leo, is this true? You're—" But before Leo could respond, a sudden chill swept through the air, as if the entire room had taken a collective breath. A low laugh rippled from Daniel, still on the ground, his gaze flickering between Leo and the newcomer. "You really didn't know, did you? You were both kept in the dark." Veronica's mother stepped forward, her face pale and drawn. "Please, this isn't the time." "Not the time?" Daniel cut her off, amusement glinting in his eyes. "This is just getting interesting." In the chaos of the gala, silence began to creep in again. People shifted in horror, eyes glued to the bizarre reunion unfolding before them. Leo felt exposed, A sudden wave of vulnerability crashing over him as he faced the shocking truth of his parentage, the family secrets unraveling like a worn thread. "I didn't grow up alongside you, Leo," the twin said, his voice calm yet laced with tension. "But I've always watched, always waited for the right moment." "Waited for what?" Leo came back, anger flaring. "You think this is some game?" But the twin smiled, the kind of smile that sent shivers down Leo's spine. "No game, brother. A reckoning." Suddenly, a loud crash shattered through the air, drawing everyone's attention. A massive chandelier above them began to sway dangerously, fragments of glass glittering as it trembled. People gasped and backed away, eyes wide with fear. This time, it really felt. The world was collapsing. "Get down," Daniel yelled, lunging toward Veronica. But it was too late. With a deafening crash, the chandelier broke free from its moorings, crashing down toward the crowd. "No," Leo shouted, adrenaline surging as time seemed to slow. He lunged in front of Veronica, shoving her to the floor just as the cascading glass rained down around them. The collapsing light erupted in a shower of sparkling shards. Laughter transformed into screams as chaos broke free once again. Leo could hardly breathe as he felt the weight of the moment. Every second stretched painfully. Glass shattered, pieces striking the floor with sickening thuds. He turned instinctively to shield Veronica, cradling her in his arms, their bodies pressed together against the floor. "Are you okay?" he gasped, lifting his head to assess the nightmarish scene. The air was thick with dust and fear, voices mingling into a cacophony of confusion and horror. But when he turned back, a new figure stood amidst the chaos. A woman with striking features, dark hair cascading down her shoulders. "You thought you could escape, didn't you?" she called out, piercing eyes locking on Daniel. "Mom," the twin gasped, shock ripping through him. "What?" Leo exclaimed, his head spinning. "What do you mean, Mom?" But before an answer came, the atmosphere shifted again. The woman stepped closer, revealing a necklace around her neck, an ornate pendant that gleamed with an otherworldly light. With a flick of her hand, she summoned energies crackling in the air, pulling everyone's attention. "You think you know who you are," she said, her voice rising, filled with untold power. "I know the truth." Leo's stomach sank. This was no ordinary family reunion. Her presence felt as if the very ground beneath him was starting to tremble. "What truth?" Leo managed to croak, eyes darting between this stranger and the turmoil around him. "The truth about your lineage," she intoned, every word heavy with weight. "Stop this," Daniel shouted, eyes wide with shock. "You have no right." "Oh, but I do," she replied, a wicked smile unfurling on her lips. "I've been waiting for this moment to set everything right. All of you are part of something much larger than you could ever imagine." Leo's heart raced faster than ever. Was this some kind of trap? Some twisted family legacy he never wanted? His thoughts spiraled, anxiety carving deeper lines in his mind. The ground shook beneath them yet again, and suddenly a chorus of roars erupted from outside the building. Something was crashing through the city, reverberating like thunder. "What is happening?" Leo gasped, panic rising in his chest. Before anyone could answer, the room was lit up by a blinding flash from outside, a huge eruption of light illuminating the night sky. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, bursting forth like a beacon, and in that very moment, the woman turned to them, a knowing glint in her eyes. "Time to choose your destiny." Everything fell silent, a profound stillness enveloping the chaos. It felt like the calm before a storm. Leo looked at Veronica, then at his twin. Every heartbeat echoed the weight of the unknown. "Do we stand together?" he whispered hoarsely, feeling the power of their entwined fate. The answer hung in the air, thick with tension. But as they stood at the brink of something both terrifying and grand, an overwhelming rumble shook the ground, and a deep voice echoed through the night declaring, "The time has come." What did it all mean? As uncertainty gripped them, they faced the dizzying prospect of their intertwined destinies. and the undercurrents of a truth none of them could escape. The air thickened with tension as Leo stared at the woman who claimed to be his mother. The words hung like a sword over their heads, the truth looming heavy. Veronica stood beside him, breath caught in her throat, disbelief etching her features. It felt surreal. This moment shifting everything they thought they understood. But before Leo could process, a deafening roar erupted from outside, shaking the very foundation beneath them. The lights flickered violently, and panic swept through the already chaotic crowd. Screams echoed as people scrambled for the exits, a wave of fear washing over everyone. "Leo," Veronica shouted, her eyes wide with horror. "What's happening?" "I don't know," he replied, scanning the chaos. "We need to get out of here." But the woman, their mother, raised a hand, silencing them with an imposing presence. "The truth is storming toward us. You must understand. Your heritage." Then, as if she had summoned it, the walls trembled again and the ceiling began to crack. Dust showered down like confetti of disaster. "Get down!" Leo yelled, pulling Veronica to the floor as debris rained above them. Once the chaos settled, a sudden hush fell like a shroud. Leo's heart raced as he fought to keep panic at bay. His gaze flicked to Daniel, who lay still, the knife glinting ominously on the floor beside him. He'd seen it all. The truth brought to light, the storm circling closer, and then, a sound, the low hum of something mechanical, deep and foreboding. Through the rubble, a strange figure emerged, cloaked in black, an eerie calm contrasting the chaos that reigned around them. "Enough of this charade," the figure boomed, piercing blue eyes scanning the crowd, locking onto Leo with an intensity that sent shivers racing down his spine. "Who the hell are you?" Daniel croaked, attempting to rise but faltering, the pallor of his skin apparent against the chaos around him. "Do you not recognize your own brother?" The figure stepped closer, voice sharp like ice. "I am Nathan, your true sibling, born from the same secrets that bind you all." Shock surged through Leo, a torrent of emotions crashing into him. "What? No, this is madness." Veronica's face went pale, each word barely hanging on the edge of her lips. "How many of us are there?" "Oh, more than you can imagine," Nathan replied coldly. "Your father concealed us all." Fragments of a fractured family, scattered like ashes in the wind. "Enough," Leo shouted, frustration clawing at his throat. This wasn't a game, this was a nightmare. Why now? Why reveal this? With each heartbeat, tension dripped heavier, and before Nathan could respond, the ground rumbled again, but this time, it was accompanied by a shocking crack. The structure shuddered, the ceiling threatening to collapse. With a deafening roar, the flooring beneath them began to twist, revealing a hidden passage, spiraling downward, an abyss calling them closer. "Run!" Leo screamed, grabbing Veronica's hand. But as he turned, he realized something chilling. Daniel was crawling toward them, a wild look in his eyes. "Stop, he's the key," Nathan yelled, panic flaring in his voice. "Don't let him near." "You!" "Why?" Leo shot back, ire bubbling. "Why now? You can't just throw this at us and expect us to trust you." But before anyone could say anything further, Daniel lunged at Leo, gripping his ankle with feverish strength. "We're connected, Leo. You and I. This family. You need to understand." The words sliced through the air, reverberating in the cacophony. Leo glanced down at Daniel, who was no longer the scared brother. His eyes held a madness, a desperate compulsion. "Let go of me," Leo yelled, pulling away. Just then, the ground gave a final lurch, and Daniel's grip slipped. As he fell, his hands desperately grasping for stability, a small device fell from his pocket. A glimmering orb that rolled ominously across the floor. It pulsed, with light illuminating Daniel's face just before everything went dark. "Leo!" Veronica screamed, her voice piercing through the void. An explosion followed, blinding, swallowing the space whole, and in that moment, everything changed. The truth of their intertwining fates spun away, leaving behind not answers, but more questions. As the darkness wrapped around them, Leo's last thought was a whisper of hope. Whatever awaited them, they had to face it together. The world around Leo faded to black. Silence enveloped him, leaving only the sound of pounding in his chest. He lay there, a deep weight pressing against him, darkness wrapping tightly like a shroud. Panic surged through him. Where was Veronica? As if on cue, the shadows shifted, and suddenly blinding light pierced through the void. Leo squinted, eyes adjusting to the brightness, and when it cleared, he found himself in an unfamiliar white room, sterile and cold. Veronica was beside him, gasping, looking dazed. "Leo, are you okay?" I think so." He glanced around. They were alone. No sign of chaos, no cries for help, just an eerie stillness hanging in the air. "What happened?" "I don't know." She reached for him, trembling hands brushing his arm. "After the explosion, I thought we'd be trapped." But before Leo could reassure her, a voice echoed from the far side of the room. It was Nathan, his brother, standing at the entrance. "Welcome to our family's true home." "What do you mean?" Leo's heart raced. "What did you do?" "This is the safe place." Nathan's smile flickered, sharp and cold. "While chaos reigned outside, I arranged for your escape. We've things to discuss, things you need to know." This didn't feel right. "Discuss what? We're just supposed to trust you?" "I never thought you would." Nathan stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "But you don't understand your father's legacy." "Not yet." "Enough," Veronica snapped, standing tall beside Leo. "You can't just waltz in and say things like that. If my father's involved—" "Your father has been lying to all of us, Veronica." Nathan cut her off, his face an open book of memories. "You don't know who he really is." Each word hit Leo like a hammer. "What do you mean?" In an instant, Nathan's demeanor changed. His eyes glinted with an unsettling mix of pride and malice. "Unlocking the truth is dangerous, but you are meant for greater things, both of you." "Enough with the riddles," Leo shot back, anger boiling over. "Just tell us what is happening." Nathan leaned in, voice dropping. "Your father, he's not just a businessman. He's a leader in an ancient order, one that fought to protect the world from those who wield power for evil." A sudden wave of doubt washed over Leo. "What? This all sounds like some storybook nonsense." "Does it?" Nathan challenged, gaze unwavering. "Why do you think you faced so much adversity?" "Because the world doesn't want the truth to surface." Just then the door swung open, revealing a parade of figures in dark cloaks, their presence commanding and ominous. Leo's breath hitched as he recognized one. "Daniel?" The earlier confrontation flooded back, but this was different. Daniel stepped forward, standing tall, a smug smile taunting his brother. "Glad to see you both awake, just in time for the reveal." "Reveal what?" Veronica demanded. The figures unhooked their hoods, revealing familiar faces, friends from Avalon, even acquaintances. Shock rippled through Leo and Veronica alike. Home is where the heart is," Daniel said, stepping back. "And this is where mine has always been." That was the moment it struck Leo. "You've known about this?" But before Daniel could answer, another figure stepped forward, one Leo regretted ever seeing. It was their father, who had been lost to everything. The man they believed had built everything for them. "Joshua," Leo whispered, the name tumbling from his lips like a curse. "Yes," their father replied, a twisted grin dancing across his face. "It's time you knew that everything you believed was a lie. You weren't just my children. You're destined to take leadership in our family's order." "What?" The reality hit like a thunderbolt. All this time? Suddenly, Nathan waved his hand, and the wall behind him shimmered and split like a curtain, revealing a sprawling landscape, a field of darkness punctuated by ancient symbols, pulsing with energy. It looked alive, inviting, yet menacing. "This is our true heritage." Nathan opened his arms wide. "You both have powers that have yet to be unlocked, but you'll need to choose sides between what you know and what I'm offering." As shock settled in, Leo's mind reeled. "What are you saying? This can't be real." But Nathan's gaze remained steady. How far are you willing to go to protect the people you love? Then, everything turned upside down. As Leo and Veronica stepped forward, another figure emerged. A woman, a face so familiar. It was their mother, the same one they thought had been lost forever. Leo, Veronica, I need you to trust me more than ever. Stunned silence settled like a heavy fog. Leo felt like the floor had just dropped from beneath him. Everything he thought he knew shifted in a kaleidoscope of confusion. Finish what we started, she whispered, the conviction in her eyes stirring Leo's heart. It was too much. Layers of secrets piling higher. A choice loomed ahead. Would he step into this unknown world or retreat to the familiar? Then Nathan spoke, breaking the stillness. The clock's ticking. Choose now or lose everything. The stakes felt impossibly high. The weight of unmade choices bore down on them, and Leo stood there, wrestling with the revelation. What was truly at stake? Would they embrace this darkness or fight against it? It was a moment that promised everything and nothing. What awaited them beyond that shimmering threshold? The air crackled with tension as Nathan stood, a dominating figure in the white room. Leo could feel every heartbeat thunder in his chest, anxiety coiling tighter by the second. The stakes felt insurmountable. Shadows darkening the edges of their unfolding story, and there beside him, Veronica held his hand, her grip shaking, fear radiating from her. Choose now or lose everything. Nathan's voice was sharp, authority pouring from him like poison. Each syllable echoed with implications Leo couldn't quite grasp. What could possibly be so important that we would follow you into whatever this is? Leo shot back, heart racing. The words spilled out before he could catch them, the urgency clawing at him. Your true purpose. Nathan's eyes gleamed with intensity. But before anyone could grasp the weight of his claim, a piercing alarm erupted from the walls. Red lights flashed like warning signals, bathing the room in a frantic strobe. A thick steel door slammed shut, sealing them inside. Wait, what's happening? Veronica cried, panic tinging her voice. What did you do? Nathan smirked, chaos dancing in his eyes. This is just the beginning. Enough with the games, Leo yelled, his voice strained. The room felt smaller, walls creeping in. What do you want from us? In response, Nathan lifted his arm, and the swirling symbols on the wall shifted. A pulsating image shimmered to life, a swirling crowd, faces filled with anguish, shadows creeping in. It was Avalon, but it looked different, darker. They'll come for what we have. The order you're destined to lead. It will be their downfall. With a sickening twist of fate, Leo's mind reeled. What order? What are you talking about? But Nathan wasn't listening. His focus shifted, eyes narrowing at Daniel, still recovering on the floor. You too, you could have been part of this. A real family. Before Daniel could respond, the ground quaked beneath them. What now? Leo gasped, scrambling to maintain his footing. Confusion and fear spiraled into chaos anew. Brace yourselves, Nathan ordered, gripping the edge of the wall. Leo's heart raced, confusion mashed with something else, a growing dread tightening its hold. Then, as if the universe itself decided to intervene, the vibrating intensified. A portal opened in the space behind Nathan, a swirl of darkness and light entangled, beckoning them closer. Step through and it's yours. All of our power, all of the truth, Nathan called, voice imposing. Leo, no, Veronica shouted, desperation rising in her tone. Yet, despite her plea, Leo felt a pull, a whisper luring him in. What if this was his chance to unlock everything? But as he swayed closer to the edge of the portal, Veronica caught his arm. Don't do this. What if it's a trap? But Daniel suddenly lurched upward, anguish spilling from his features. I know the truth. His voice cracked, eyes wide with forgotten horror. What do you mean? Leo's heart sank into his stomach. The urgency hung sharp in the air. With a sudden, breathless surge of energy, Daniel whispered, "The portals, they're a deception. They're a choice. Not to gain power, but to make you forget. The past, it's all a lie, woven into a dark tapestry. The truth is meant to keep you bound." The revelation hit Leo like a brick. What? That can't be. But before he could grasp the weight of Daniel's words, a fierce blast erupted. A figure lunged from the portal. A torrent of energy engulfed the room, and with it came a figure cloaked in shadows, face hidden beneath a hood. "The truth you seek lies not in power, but sacrifice." "Who the hell are you?" Nathan roared, shock tearing through his bravado. The cloaked figure pulled down the hood, revealing a familiar face, a face Leo knew. "Mom?" Everything froze. The air turned thick, tensions reaching a boiling point. They were being pulled into an abyss of revelations, secrets unraveling faster than they could process. Leo's mother stepped forward, eyes blazing with urgency. "It's time to make your choice." The weight of her words hung heavy. "Choose what?" Veronica whispered, a lump forming in her throat. Leo could only stare, mind racing with the implications. Who was aligned with whom, and what did it all mean? As his mother looked at him, compassion filled her gaze. But darkness lingered, threatening to engulf them all. "Beware the truth," she warned softly, "for it can shatter everything you thought you knew." As the walls trembled and shadows danced, Leo felt the weight of the choices crashing down. The truth loomed, threatening to tear them apart, and he wondered, what would he discover if he stepped into the light? Would it pull them together, or tear them apart forever? The tension in the room thickened, each heartbeat reverberating like a drum. As Leo's eyes widened at the sight of his mother, so many questions clashing inside him, he felt as if the ground itself was ready to swallow him whole. "Mom, you're alive?" His voice cracked, disbelief crashing over him like a tidal wave. "Yes, and I'm sorry for everything," she said, her tone heavy with regret. "I had to protect you." "Protect us?" Veronica echoed incredulously, eyeing Daniel, Nathan, and the cloaked figures. "This is your idea of protection?" "A cruel world surrounds us," their mother replied calmly, her gaze steady. "Secrets have long kept you safe, but that safety is crumbling." Leo felt rage bubbling in his chest, each word digging deeper. "Crumbling? You mean you've built a facade that leaves us in the dark?" We were shredded in a storm of lies. The shadows around them twisted softly, as if echoing his anger. Their mother stepped closer, desperation lining her features. "You both possess powers greater than you realize, pockets of potential that, if harnessed, could shift the tides. But you must choose wisely. The portal represents a decision, power or truth." Every syllable throbbed with weight, pulling at Leo and Veronica. They glanced at each other, uncertainty painting their faces. "Leo," Veronica's voice softened, "what if we could change everything? What if what lies ahead is truly our destiny?" "What if we can't trust anyone here?" Leo replied, his heart racing. "We could lose ourselves, each other." "But what choice do we have?" Nathan interjected, daringly stepping into their space. "This world is filled with enemies. The only weapon is the truth. Not just for you, but for all who've suffered. Together we can wield it, but you must step forward." Nausea tightened in Leo's gut, memories colliding like ships in a storm. The laughter, the secrets, the chaos. It all spiraled back to the moment they'd first met Daniel in the gala. Leo could almost taste the fear that blended seamlessly with a flicker of hope. "Leo, we're in this together." Veronica's grip on his hand was fierce, grounding him as uncertainty clawed at his thoughts. "And if we fail?" he questioned, meeting her gaze, finding solace in her warmth. She gave a resolute nod. "Then we'll go down fighting. Nothing can be worse than living this way." With a deep breath, Leo turned back to the portal swirling before them, the invitation both terrifying and electrifying. Light shimmered, casting an ethereal glow across the chaotic scene. He could feel the pull, the urge to leap into the unknown. "I choose," he declared, his voice steadying. "I choose to understand who I am, no more lies." Veronica joined him, determination threading their fates together. "And I choose to stand by your side." With a nod, Nathan stepped aside as the cloaked figures watched in silence, an expectant tension hanging in the air. Daniel, still recovering, stared, awe mixing with regret. "You made your decision," Nathan said, backing away, pride swelling in his eyes. "Now embrace it." As they crossed the threshold, Leo felt warmth envelop him, and a rush of clarity surged through his veins. Color surged, emotion sparked, and the tapestry of their lives unraveled, the full story woven into existence. And then it all faded to black. Moments later, they found themselves in the same gala hall, but everything felt changed. The chandelier had stopped swinging, and whispers of chaos faded. The crowd, still in shock, turned silent. "Here's where the journey begins," their mother said, stepping forward, alive and radiant in the light, hope illuminating their path. As they shared a resolute look, Leo realized this was not just about power, it was about truth and forging connections through love. Together, they would navigate the storm to come. Together, they would rebuild, not just their lives, but also the fragile ties of family, bound now by honesty. Within the silence, one truth became clear. The future was written by their own hands. And if you want to see where their journey leads next, you have to subscribe right now. Don't wait even one more second. Smash that like button. It really supports the channel. Flood the comments now with your thoughts and theories about what's next. And share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this story ends. This is the moment to show your support and ensure you never miss out on the next exclusive stories.